Hey y'all, it's Megan. Welcome back to the channel. Glad y'all are here today. Come spend a little time with us today. I don't know exactly what we're going to get into, but we've had quite a bit of rain over the last couple days. Everything's pretty wet, and we're just going to see what the day brings. But first, I want to show y'all the newest addition to the farm. Belle had her baby.
I don't know how much rain we've had. Apparently our gauge froze and busted at some point and we didn't realize it, and it only showed an inch, but I can tell you that
it was quite a bit more than
we've had a lot more than an inch of rain just yesterday and last night.
But this is Duchess. This is Black Star's baby that was born about a week ago, and like I said, right there's Belle's. Exciting times here. You know, there's always a little bit of worry, at least for me anyway, hoping everything will go okay. So the last one on the list will be Candy to have hers whenever that may be. She's got all the way till the end of March by when the bull was here. So we'll see when it is.
Well, it's a totally different day than it was this morning when we first started the video. The sun's come out. It's warmed up actually. Don't feel too bad out here, but the wind's blowing 100 miles an hour. It about blowed me and Megan down a while ago. It's amazing how much the wind's blowing. But I wanted to show y'all real quick what I went and picked up. I know on my last video, I showed you the baskets that we're going to use for firewood. I got 24 of them on this trailer, double stacked. We got 6, and then the same on the other side. So as soon as it dries up just a little bit, I think maybe tomorrow, I'm going to pull the truck up here and unload these things. Right there is what we done the other day. Me and Jacob and Maggie. These are 2 baskets of pine, and that's a basket of poplar. And these 3 baskets will be used for our hog vat. You know, typically people don't burn pine or poplar in their house, which poplar makes a pretty decent firewood, but most of the time it's still not used in the house. But they do make excellent firewood for the hog vat because they give you a real quick heat. And so that's kind of what you want when you're trying to heat up a bunch of water in a hog vat. You want a good, quick, fast heat. So what I'm gonna do is go out here and lay out the extension I'm gonna do on the garden. And I'll show you what I'm talking about here in just a minute. So the cool thing about having that many firewood totes or baskets is we'll end up having, from what I've been told and the YouTube videos I've watched and everything, it takes 3 baskets to make a cord of wood. And so having 30 baskets total, we'll have the ability to pretty much store 10 cords of wood, even though part of that will be for our personal consumption, like I said on the hog vat and stuff. We'll have 10 cords of wood stored from year to year. And as we get rid of that wood, like this fall when we start selling wood, as we empty a basket, we'll go and refill it. And so it'll be kind of like a continuous cycle once we get started with it all. Well, let's get these flags in the ground and we'll at least get this laid off and see how everything looks. Okay. We'll be able to put in perspective better if we've got something in the ground marking. Y'all are a little early to the game, ain't you?
First sign of spring.
According to the weatherman, spring ain't gonna, these little peaks of spring ain't gonna be here long. I think we've got
some snow in a couple days.
Yeah, we've got some more extremely cold weather and snow in the forecast, so who knows? Bring it on is all I know.
Oh yeah.
Let's need you to hold the end of this tape measure against that post.
Okay. Look at my collard greens.
They're looking but good, ain't they?
I know.
Considering
how bad they looked here a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, and considering the cold we've had. Just hold it on the outside of the post.
Right here.
Yeah. So what we're planning on doing is fencing in this section of yard too. Of course, you know, we've had the 3 garden beds out here already, but we're going to turn this into, like, the whole area is going to be a dedicated garden spot.
And this middle fence will just serve as more of a trellis than anything.
Right. Yeah, that fence right there has already got a grapevine growing on it, so it'll be like a trellis in between the 2 patches. We'll mark it at 40 feet. So we'll have a corner post right there.
Well, we'll be pretty much doubling it, won't we?
Hold it right I'm gonna put one at 20 feet and we'll have a post right in the middle. Then we'll put T-posts between like what we've got. What'd you say?
I said it looks like we'll be pretty much doubling.
We'll be close. I've never really measured that garden, so I don't know how big it is.
Well, I'm just saying, looking at it.
Well, let's measure it real quick. Take it on down to that corner post there and we'll see how wide that garden is. I want to say this is about 50 foot.
Well, I was just saying, eyeing it, it looked like, you know.
Yep, we're exactly 50 foot that way.
So it's almost doubling it.
Pretty close. $55.
50 by 55.
Yep. So those of y'all that's wondered how big our garden is, it's roughly a 55 by 50.
But now, if anybody's new to the channel, this is not the only place we grow stuff. Be sure to go back and check out old gardening videos. We also have a garden down at the creek.
We have one at the creek and we have one up the road.
Yeah.
So.
But this is what we prefer to as like our main.
Well, and
garden.
This is probably the one that gets looked after the best.
Well, yeah.
So our goal, I'm tangled all up in the grapevine. How in the world did that happen? So our goal is to be able to grow just about as much of our garden as we can right here at the house, because it's so much easier to take care of.
Well, through the years, we've kind of, you know, you hear that stuff, but we learned the hard way that it's, well, like I said, easiest to take care of if it's right in your back door and you have to look at it every day. You ain't gonna more than likely let it get overgrown with weeds because you can see it. It's in your path.
That's right. You can see it.
Yeah.
Let's see, we have our raised beds over there, which we're going to add to. And then we have, well, let's finish measuring it out and I'll kind of explain what we're going to do up here.
Okay. And so anybody that's new to like making, you haven't made a garden, maybe you're going to be new to making your own garden this year or something, one of the best suggestions that I have,
put it in your way.
Put it in your way. Somewhere that is next. Don't go way out here in the edge of the woods somewhere and try to put one and think you're going to look after it, because life gets busy for everybody. So
especially when you work away from home.
Yeah.
And you know, you're in and out all the time, and the only time you're at home is maybe late in the evening or on the weekends. You need this thing where it's in your way so you think about it.
Yep.
Because if you don't,
especially stuff that has to be picked all the time, like squash and tomatoes and stuff like that. Like, it's got, for me anyway, like it's got to be in my sight.
I know. I love growing tomatoes down here at the creek garden because they do really good down there. But Megan hates it because she's like, I got to go all the way down there and pick them. And, you know.
And when life gets busy, it's so much easier for me just to grab a bucket, run out here, pick me a few, and run back in the house and do what I got to do, instead of making a whole trip of loading up the youngins and like, here we go, you know, and making the whole ordeal out of it.
Our youngins are about to the age where they can go down there and pick it.
That's true.
They probably already can.
That's true. If I send them to the creek, though, they'll swim, and I won't see them no more.
That's true. Yeah, you got to watch sending them down to the creek.
The wind was beating them to death, so they're doing arts and crafts right now in the kitchen.
You know, that's what I was saying earlier. I mean, it's a beautiful day out here, but golly, that wind it's rough.
All right, we're going 40,
all right. So
40 foot.
We need a walk-in gate just like we've got right here for this garden.
Okay.
So what I'm thinking is we'll stop right about, because that's a 6-foot gate there. I think I'm going to put a 6-foot gate here, which part of this right here against the fence will be walking path, so it's not going to...
So we ain't going to plant nothing, right?
We won't have anything planted like right up against the fence. There's no use in it. That grapevine shades that whole area all summer long, because the sun tracks across the sky right across there. All right, so we'll mark 6 foot here, and we'll plan on having us a post right about in here. There ain't none of these exact. They're just close. Y'all, I remember when I put this garden here to begin with, like, it started out as just a little patch right down there. And Grandpa thought I was kind of crazy because Grandpa was still living when I started this garden. And here I was, had a garden right in the yard. My grandpa never had a garden in the yard. His gardens was always probably half a mile away from the house. We're sitting at 20 foot right there. That'll line us up with that post, but I think that'll work. Have us a post right there. Like I already said, we'll have one post right there. That's what a gate will be mounted on, a walk-in gate. Then we'll have another post right here, and I'll stretch the fence across like I've done on this section so I can get a tractor in and out. I'll be getting my tractor in and out right here. And then from this post that's right here to this post, we're going to cut across at an angle. You see there'll be a post right there, and it's going to angle across here, and that's just because of the way our driveway lays and everything. I want to make sure we can still get through here pretty easy with a mower. But we'll also, from this post, we'll put one directly in the middle. When Megan gets back out here, I'll measure that off. If you'll just grab that end, I'll take this end.
Well, it's like, you know, I spend most of my time, or a lot of my time, in the kitchen. Well, the kitchen window's right there. You know what I mean? So, like, I'm forced to look out here. Now, if I see red tomatoes, or I, like, see the weeds are getting bad or something, like, it's right there to remind me not to forget about it. Where you want me to stand, next to this?
Right there at that flag. Look at the tape measure blowing. All right, hold to it, because I'm gonna pull it tight. Put it down there. You got it exactly on it?
Yeah.
All right, we're at 38 feet. What's half of 38?
19.
19's half of 38. Well, then we're gonna put a post at 19 foot. Yeah, that looks right. So there'll be a post right there. The darn limbs, the limbs are coming down on it.
Oh.
But Grandpa was always at the field working, so that's where his gardens were, because that's where he spent all of his time.
Right.
Now, Grandma, on the other hand, would have loved to have had a garden right here at the house, because she was always at home. Well, this is really, now that you see the flags, this is really the first time you've actually been able to probably imagine where it's going to be. What do you think?
Oh, I think it's going to be awesome. I'm excited for it.
So it looks good to you?
Yeah.
Because
I'm telling you, I'm serious. Like, I'm not just putting on. The more we plant up here, the happier Mama is.
I know, and it somewhat makes me sad, because I love working the fields.
Right.
And this is not like planting a garden like that down there.
Right. Right.
You know, this is not the same. When you're not getting out here with a tractor cultivating it and everything, it's just, to me, it's just not the same.
I mean, it's work just in a different way, because you're using a hoe and everything else. You just can't really do it with a tractor.
It is. But the biggest thing to planting it up here is you put a fence around it, you can keep a deer out of it.
Yep.
Y'all, if it wasn't for deer, we could grow gardens anywhere.
Yeah.
But deer are our #1 enemy around here.
And I'm going to tell you, like, the deer around here, after we've made friends around the United States and different places, apparently the deer pressure in different places are not like it is here.
Yeah, I've heard.
The deer pressure here is ridiculous.
I've heard of some places that might be just a tad bit worse than what we are.
Yeah.
But most places, it seems like the deer pressure is not near as bad as it is here.
Yeah, the deer pressure is pretty serious. Like, I mean, we've tried different things. The best thing we found is fencing, these noisemakers, and Billy's bone sauce.
Yeah.
To deter the deer, but they got so hungry last year during that drought.
They still went They went past the bone sauce. The fences were starting to, not this fence. This fence here we didn't really have a problem with.
The fence down.
But the fence down at the creek, they were starting to test it and go through it. And I've used that deer repellent stuff. I've used everything.
Well, they say they don't like daffodils. We got daffodils planted everywhere. They don't like marigolds. They will eat.
It don't matter. You can plant something right beside a daffodil, and a deer's going to eat it.
Or marigold.
Or marigold.
Or rosemary or anything. They say they don't like these smelly herbs.
It don't matter.
It don't matter.
We've got rosemary right over here.
They will mow right next to it.
And we've got strawberries planted all around it, and a fig. And that the strawberries right up to the rosemary got eat plumb down to the ground last year. And it's in our front yard, like 5 foot off the house. So the deer are awful here.
That one year we put up, before we built the permanent fence, we put up, what was it, a 10-foot tall, one of them.
It was like the deer netting.
Yeah, and they jumped it.
They did, they jumped it. Now, why they don't jump this?
I think it's the optical illusion.
Yeah, I'm gonna show you real quick. I don't think we've ever talked much about this. This is just 4 foot, like dog walk wire that's around our fence, around our garden here. But the T-post and the wooden post, man, I can't even hold the camera still, the wind's blowing it around. But the wooden post and the T-post are both taller than the actual fence. And I almost wonder if that don't give them some sort of an optical illusion, thinking that the fence is taller than it really is.
So that's what we think and what we're gonna say. So that's why, like, Andy's never went through and like cut those posts off like we originally intended to do. We just let it be.
Yeah, we've left it alone. Yeah. The posts sticking up like that are somewhat kind of curious looking, but it works. So I think we're gonna leave it alone. And the new fence that we put up for these deer, I'm gonna do the same way. I'm gonna leave the post sticking up like that. Because originally my idea was I was gonna put wire plumb to the top of these things because I knew how bad the deer would jump it if I didn't. But I never got that far, and we made it through one season without doing that. And it's worked ever since, so I've never bothered putting any more wire up. So, just so y'all can see how we're gonna lay this out, because we're gonna make a little bit of changes over here too, as long as we get time to do it before garden season gets here. Garden season is creeping up on us pretty quick.
And for us, that's right around what, Mother's Day?
Yeah, like so, it's almost here. It'll be here before we know it. But I wanna put in a new run of raised beds over here on the upper side of our existing garden. And then from about, let's see, we'll have like a walking path here. We'll just line it with wood chips like we've done on this side. It'll be from here all the way down to the end. And then starting about right here, plumb over to here, will be our tilled up garden. We'll have this as tilled ground, and we'll plant things like corn, our green beans, stuff like that will go in this area. Same as that area down there. I'm gonna keep the bottom half of that garden tilled. All right. And most likely, I'll kind of work around this tree because I don't want to get too close to this tree tilling it. This is a flowering cherry tree, by the way, that
it's Megan's favorite. So.
We planted there many years ago, and it is a beautiful tree when it blooms. Now it's in the way of our garden, but we just can't bring ourselves to cutting it down because it's so pretty. But anyways, I'm going to work around this, and we'll probably just have this area right here around the tree and to the fence mulched real heavy. And then the tilled part will go out plumb into here. So starting at the edge of where this bed right here stopped, I'm going to make 2 long raised beds. I'm going to make one starting down there, and it'll run down to about the middle, and then we'll have a place where we can walk between them. And then from here to the fence will be raised bed. And we'll have them probably 4 foot wide. I found that makes a good width for a raised bed because you can reach it from both sides. You don't have to climb up in the bed to get to the other side. You can reach the whole thing from just one side of the bed. Now on the back side of these raised beds will be whatever's left of this area right here. Now this area I'm gonna come in and put some really heavy wood chips down, mulch it real heavy. And then we've got to do some pruning on our blackberries down here, and we've got blackberry sprouts everywhere. We're going to take and transplant some of those blackberry sprouts across here. And it'll be from that end of the fence all the way over to this end of the fence. We've got a lot to do between now and garden planting time. Well, if nothing else, I at least like to get the fence done.
Right.
The fence really needs to be done, but I want to get it all done. Luckily, we've already got established beds that we can plant stuff. So, you know, if we have to go to planting before this is done, then it is what it is, and we can just finish this a little bit later and then plant this. So since we're already talking about gardening, we decided we'd walk over here to the raised beds, show you a few more plans we have over here.
I think we're just dreaming of spring.
Yeah, we're just dreaming of springtime.
They get listed to the guineas over here.
These are our carrots we had that we showed y'all that froze back really bad? Look right there. We pulled one a while ago, but right now they're trying to come back out.
Well, we talked about pulling them before everything freezes again here in the next couple of days, but then, I mean, this is pretty much like they've been out in a refrigerator, and everyone we pulled, they're not wilted or anything, they're great, and so, well, we're just gonna leave them alone for now.
Yep.
Because they're keeping just fine right here.
So we're letting them keep there, and we don't have to do anything with them until we need them. This bed right here was a bed that we were planting and stuff, but it started to get taken over by that one random blackberry over there.
Well, and plus this was our very first raised bed. We didn't much know what we were doing as far as we've always done in-ground gardening before we built this. What we learned is it's too big. You have to walk in it.
You have to walk up in it. That's the biggest problem. And so we're just gonna let the blackberry take it over, and that's gonna be a blackberry bed too. Guess what? We love blackberries.
Oh yeah. And you can make, like, my favorite jelly is blackberry jelly, and it's killer.
You can't get enough blackberries when they're coming in. Me and Megan both, and the kids, will sit out here until we're sick from eating blackberries.
They're so good.
Somebody commented on the mulching video saying we were going to have more blueberries than we knew what to do with, because once they get big, they're going to produce so many berries. We hope so. That's our intentions. We hope we have enough blueberries up here that we can pick all we want, the neighbors can pick all they want, Mom and Daddy can pick all they want. The list goes on and on. That's the goal.
That's what we enjoy doing. So a lot of people see this stuff and they're like, you'll never eat all that. But we enjoy sharing with other people too. Like, we're not just necessarily thinking about just us. You know what I mean?
And you know what? If it ever were to come down to it, which I don't intend on it, but if it ever came down to it, and we've got more berries than we know what to do with, and we can't give them away, you know, we could start advertising them, and maybe you could turn it into somewhat like of a side hustle. Who knows?
Yep.
You're just kind of always prepared for anything.
Possibilities are endless.
That's exactly right. Now, this little bed right here is what I've been starting sweet potato slips in. However, this year, that's something else I want to do.
Oh, you ain't gonna start them right here?
I'm gonna make a big one.
Oh, you're gonna make a bunch of slips.
I want to make a bunch of slips.
We probably made 200 in this one this year.
I want them all to come in at one time though.
Oh, I gotcha.
See, that's the problem with this little bed, is you get a handful of slips that's ready to plant. Well, then you go and plant them.
You gotta wait another 2 weeks.
In 2 or 3 more weeks, you've got more that are ready to plant. I want a bunch, because sweet potato slips are hard to find around here.
They didn't used to be, but for whatever reason, they are now.
Well, I would love to grow a bunch of slips and have excess slips so I could...
We can provide everybody with their sweet potato slips.
Share with everybody else, sell them, or do whatever. I mean, you're probably not going to sell sweet potato slips for much, but if nothing else, I just give them away.
Yeah.
But anyways, let's talk about the raised beds. I do got one board right there I should probably replace this year. Look how bad that thing warped.
Yeah, it's been bad, but it ain't been that bad.
I know, it's awful. So the way I've made these raised beds here is I can pull the screws out and replace a board if I have to. And I do expect to have to replace these boards.
Yeah, they were built with the intention to be able to replace.
Yeah, because they're made out of oak, untreated oak. And you know, naturally it's going to rot. Yeah. So that was the plan, is to fix these so that when the time comes, I pull out those screws and put the new board in. So what we want to do is we're going to add on one more right here down the length of this. And you see how we've got them stair-stepped down this slope? Well, this one will be stair-stepped right down. We'll come out the length of the boards, which will probably be to about right there. Now that is going to put us close to this fruit tree. That is my only concern, but there'll still be room to walk through here. I will continue this mulch bed up to the end of the raised bed, so I'm not going to have to worry about like mowing grass through here or nothing. Eventually the shade from this tree will probably start to shade out that bed, and that's just one of those things that I'll worry about when that time comes. It'll probably be 3, 4, 5 years down the road from now when that fruit tree is big enough to really shade out this bed. It may even be longer than that. And by then, who knows? My plans will probably change again and we'll do something totally different. I think that's the fun thing about doing what we do, and we're the ones in charge. We can change it whenever we want to. So I won't worry about that fruit tree for right now. It's still little if it shades out in 6 or 7 years, 5, 6, 7 years, well then that'll be a problem I worry about then. I'm not gonna worry about it right now. And then we've got this random peach tree right here that came up from a seedling. We planted it there. This is all mulched right here. We've got mints and all kinds of stuff that comes up in this. I think some comfrey and other stuff. There's our garlic. Our garlic's looking really good. Look at that. And over here's a bed of garlic. Now this one, whatever garlic this was is doing really good, but then this section right here didn't do that great. And then the rest of it's looking okay. But that'll be all we add out here for now. Like I said, we're gonna have one more laid out right here. And that right there makes a pretty good lengthy run of garden space. Then having these cattle panels sprung from one to the other is the best thing ever to grow any type of beans or, well, so far all we've grew was green beans on them, but man, this is the most convenient thing in the world is this right here.
Look at my sweet little Duchess. I hear you, Hamburger.
Yep, there's Duchess.
Duchess, turn around here so they can see how pretty you are.
Look, just like she knew you was talking to her.
Yeah, that's so sweet.
And then Belle.
Has done went back to the woods with
Yep,
hers.
she's went back to the woods.
She's real funny about her babies.
I don't see the baby, but I see her down there, and the baby's somewhere with her.
Yep. You know what it is? They hear my voice after 12 o'clock, and they think they holler at me until I feed them.
They think it's feeding time,
They
don't
think
they?
it's time to eat.
I'll show y'all a prime example of one rotting out right there. In the next few years, maybe even next year, that one there will have to be replaced. And then I noticed the other day, this board right here is getting pretty bad. That one. See how we've already got a pretty big gap in there, which it'll still work this year and may even work next year. But that one eventually had to be replaced too. But that is the simplicity of building them like this, out of this sawn lumber. Like this is the lumber we sawed off of the sawmill. And the new raised beds we build will be out of that oak lumber y'all watched me saw several videos back. But I guess before we end this video, we'll answer a question that's came up a lot recently. I guess everybody's thinking about gardening just like we are.
Yep.
And you know, that question is, what's some of our favorite varieties to grow in the garden? And to be honest with y'all, that varies a lot.
It does, but we do have a few like things that yes, we are going to plant that.
Yeah, like Honey Select sweet corn.
Yeah.
I will always grow Honey Select sweet corn.
And we have tried other ones, just trying them. We did like the Serendipity. It was right up there with Honey Select. But Honey Select does good for us. I mean,
it grows good and it harvests.
The best thing ever.
And it's delicious. Yeah, the way it just pops in your mouth.
And it keeps well. Like the way that I freeze it, it keeps good. I mean, the others might too. I don't know. But.
And they might. You know, that's the thing. Once, you know, a lot of people, and we're the same way. Once you find a variety you like, you stick with it, and you don't change up because you're scared to change up.
Right. Right.
You know, because some of these crops you only get one shot. You know, when you plant it in the spring, you've only got time to grow it one time.
That's right.
So if you plant a variety you don't like, well then you've wasted a whole season.
Yeah.
So you know, once you find something you like, you stick with it. But like I said, with the sweet corn Honey Select, y'all know we grow our field corn. It's kind of like mixed up between some stuff we've crossed together.
Right.
It's crossed between Hickory King, Jimmy Red.
You put some yellow corn in it last year.
Yeah, that was Trucker's favorite.
But this will be your third.
No, this will be fourth year growing
fourth year.
Mm-hmm.
Just trying to make our own mixture with characteristics that we like.
Yep, that's a video on itself there talking about all that.
Yeah.
But it's back to the garden stuff, you know, as far as tomatoes, you're the tomato woman. What's your favorite?
I really like Better Boys.
Better Boys? Better
Boys are good. They're easy to grow. My most favorite for preserving, though, are Mountain Prides. Last year, remember, we didn't
grow them, and we will this year, though.
Yeah. It was one of those we tried a different variety in the Mountain series, and it did okay, which our weather was weird, too, so I can't exactly blame it just on the tomato. But
yeah. Because those fall tomatoes we had, the late tomatoes, they were a lot better.
Yeah. But I do like the Mountain Pride tomatoes, especially when I'm preserving a lot of tomatoes, just cause it ain't just one here or there that comes in. They come in as a group. You'll get a bundle of ripe tomatoes together, and plus they're pretty, like, I don't know what you call it. They don't crack real bad.
Right. Yeah, when you get a lot of rain, they
Yeah.
don't bust open.
Yeah. The red snappers are my favorite eating tomato. They have a fabulous taste. They are good. Them and the Better Boys have.
Now you like the
They have a good taste.
what's the pink ones?
Oh, and the pink brandy wines.
Pink brandy
Pink
wines.
brandy wines are delicious too. They're heirloom variety, but they we struggle sometimes with heirlooms, but the brandy wines have always done
Yeah.
pretty good for us. Brandy wines have a great flavor, which I
Make a big tomato too.
I love tomatoes. So it's hard to find one I don't much like.
Like now cucumbers, we've
We
grown
always do
several
them.
different varieties of cucumbers, and we always go back to the pickling cucumber, the national pickling.
Yep.
That seems to suit our needs the best.
And I like the Market Moore cucumbers.
And the Market Moore, they make good eating cucumbers.
Yeah, Market Moores make excellent eating cucumbers. They don't have a lot of seeds, but they're bigger cucumbers. They got a really good taste.
But if you're gonna make pickles, the national pickling
Oh, yeah.
cucumber, in my opinion, is
Yeah.
one to go with.
Yeah.
They make a lot better pickle. They stay crunchy.
Yeah, but that all depends on your process.
Oh,
how
I
you do
know,
it too,
but
so.
I've eaten from both pickles, and
Yeah.
I like ones from the
The
national
pickling
pickling the better.
cucumbers, yeah.
Squash, we just plant
It's
regular
just-
old straight
yeah,
neck
whatever,
squash.
whatever we can find. Yeah, but straight neck. And,
Yeah, we're not big time squash eaters, so
Okra. What kind of okra was that you planted last year?
crimson spineless.
That's what we planted before too.
That's about all we've ever grown.
Yeah.
Except for that one year we grew.
Whatever that was, it felt like I had fiberglass in my hand.
Yeah, but we grew that other one that
Green
year.
emerald something.
That was emerald green. Yeah, you didn't like that one. That was an heirloom, I think.
It was
Which
just-
the other one might be, the crimson spiralus, it might be an heirloom. But the other one was
the jambalaya.
jambalaya. You
Yeah.
liked it really good.
Yeah.
Because it stayed short.
It stayed short and it put off a lot of okra. So if
Which
you're
that-
somebody who wants to pickle a lot of okra or something, that right there is a way to.
That crimson spineless
it.
puts off a lot of okra too.
I know, but that jambalaya, each little branch it has, it's got like okra coming out everywhere. Yeah, not just one shoot.
And we only had like one plant of that year, didn't we?
The rest of it didn't come up. It was a cool summer, and
Yeah.
the rest of it didn't come up.
That's one thing about okra now, it likes it hot. Sweet potatoes, they like it hot. And as far as sweet potato varieties, we've got that one purple variety we liked pretty good. I don't even know what variety it is. And then we had were the Beauregards?
I think so. Yeah,
The orange,
Yeah.
the orangish red colored sweet potatoes.
they were. We bought what, a couple of slips one time, and
Bought
just
'em.
ever since then we've just been making our own slips.
Yep, bought them at Tractor Supply, I
Yeah.
believe. Now we've planted several varieties of sweet potatoes, and so far that's our two favorite.
Oh yeah, them Beauregards are really good.
What else? Peas. Talk about you like your purple hull peas
Oh,
and all
yeah.
that.
Yeah, we like the pink-eyed purple hull peas pretty good.
And then we like the natural black-eyed pea. We planted some of them last year, and they done really
The
good
black-eyed
for us.
peas were really good. They were.
Um,
And then the October beans, what we call them, but they got a bunch of different names. October beans, Tapazio beans, cranberry beans.
Kidney, no, don't call
No.
not kidney beans.
There's something else though.
Yeah,
but I
there
can't
is
remember
another
what.
name for them.
But those are actually our most favorite.
Yeah.
I would say mine anyway, as far as beans go.
Now, as far as green beans,
We like the Kentucky Wonders.
yeah, and we like
They're pole bean.
the Kentucky Blue Wonders. Or no, what? No, the Kentucky were they Kentucky
Yeah.
Blue Wonders?
Those were the stringless pole beans.
They were a mixture from a
Yeah.
Blue Lake and a Kentucky Wonder.
And if you bush beans, which we may not plant any this year, but
Jade beans.
Jade beans, they're really good. But they're better canned, I think. That's just my personal opinion. Whereas the Kentucky Wonders are better fresh.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's just all in what you want to do with them.
Then y'all, our opinions will probably vary big time from other people's opinions.
Oh yeah.
So-
I mean, this is just what we like, and that's the good thing about growing your own garden. You grow what you like.
Yeah, I mean the thing of it is we've planted lots of different varieties on a lot of stuff, but then there's some stuff that we've just
We
stuck
just
with.
kind of
So we have gotten out of the box a little bit and tried new varieties, but this is what we found over the years that we like.
And the thing is, when you've been doing it as long as we have, you figure out what you do like, and you're not going to waste your time or your energy growing something that you ain't going to eat no way.
That was the biggest mistake we made when we first started gardening.
We thought we had to grow everything.
We grew everything.
Yeah.
And you finally learn after doing it for several years, you learn what you're going to use and what you ain't going to use.
Yeah.
And so my advice to anybody is if you like to eat something, try to focus on growing that. But if it's something you're not going to eat, don't worry about it.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
Don't grow it.
Just because, I mean, if you don't like tomatoes, and just because everybody and their brother grows tomatoes, don't mean you got to grow them.
That's right. Just like with us, everybody, we know a lot of people who put up squash, they can squash, they freeze squash. Well, we just like it fresh, and I mean, so we'll only plant just a handful of squash plants.
I did can a little bit.
Did you?
Yeah, to do stew squash. We just ain't eating none of it yet.
You scared of it?
I'm scared to be too mushy. I only did like just a handful of jars, just trying it.
But yeah, so I mean, you know, even with one or two squash plants, you're going to have more squash than you know what to do with, unless you're just a big time squash eater, and we're not. So
right.
1 or 2 plants give us way more than we need. What else did we plant that we ain't talked about? Peppers.
Yeah, I like banana peppers.
Banana peppers are your favorite.
Them ones we grew from Hoss last year, they were called Gold Rush banana peppers, and them things.
They were good too.
They were huge.
I like having some bell peppers. Megan's not a big fan of bell peppers.
They're just so slow.
Yeah, they are.
Like I'm already over the garden season when they finally start.
Yeah, for whatever reason, they do for us anyways. The bell peppers always come in a lot later than everything else.
The Mad Hatter peppers.
They were very prolific.
Yes.
We will know next year or this year that
we only need like one plant.
One plant. It's plenty of those.
And they're great. Like I mean, they're great peppers, but they
they grow up like a tree.
Huge.
They're huge. Be prepared if you do plant Mad Hatters this year. Be prepared to give them plenty of room to grow.
Yeah. Poblanos. I love poblano peppers too.
Well, I took a real big liking to the habaneros this year.
Yeah, habaneros. Give stuff great flavor.
It does. Them habaneros this year they were good.
Jalapenos are like give or take. This year our jalapenos were like super duper hot, but we had a really bad drought, and I've read or several people commented last year that's probably why they were so hot. But I swear, I think they were about hotter than the habaneros.
Oh, they were definitely hotter than them habaneros.
So jalapenos, it just depends on the year. As long as they ain't too terribly hot, I like to make like jalapeno poppers and stuff. But them was so hot you couldn't hardly stand to eat them.
Well, we grew them ghost peppers last year too.
Yeah.
And see, there goes something else. Don't waste your time on something you ain't gonna grow. I mean, ain't gonna eat.
Andy just wanted to see what they would do.
I wanted to grow them just to see, I just wanted to try it, but we haven't done nothing with any of that.
No.
And because they're just, you can touch the things, and your skin's burning.
Yeah.
Now, cayenne peppers, we always plant like a plant or two of cayenne peppers.
I like to let them dry, and then you've got your like crushed red pepper to cook and stuff with. So I do like to grow those.
And
I mean, there's not, what's that cabbage we grow? Something Dutch.
Round Dutch? Or is it flat Dutch?
I can't remember.
There's 2 different ones. I'd have to go back and look because I can't remember.
Yeah, but it's whatever they usually actually sell around here. Is what
it's one of the more popular varieties
here. Yeah.
They always do good for us. Then
I don't really much like growing no kind of greens in the spring.
Because you like them to get frosted.
I like them to get froze plumb to death. That's when they're good.
Yeah. So we only grow greens in the fall.
Yeah.
We don't even grow no collards or nothing like that in the springtime.
We just grow cabbage. That's cabbage and broccoli. We usually grow broccoli.
Yeah, we'll plant a few hills of
broccoli. The broccoli is just usually what the local greenhouse sells. We don't usually start those from seed.
We've tried doing all that from seed, and y'all, it's just like, it's hard to get your mindset right because you have to start those things
so early.
Like, yeah, we'd have been starting them with snow on the ground, and you just ain't thinking about that kind of thing.
And the thing is, like tomatoes and stuff, there are certain varieties that I want of tomatoes and peppers and things that more than likely you have to start from seed.
Yeah, because you're not going to find them in a store.
But broccoli, I mean, honestly, like the run-of-the-mill cabbage that we usually get usually does fine for us. And the broccoli, I can't remember what it's called that the greenhouse sells, but
it does fine.
It does fine for us. So,
and that's something else we got to worry about.
Yeah, we just kind of pick and choose. So don't think we're like starting every bit of it from seed or nothing like that.
No, to be honest with y'all, we never started anything from seed. Like as far as our transplants go, up until the last few years.
Yeah.
We've always bought them from a local greenhouse.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, we do our corn, our green beans, our
cucumber,
squash. We plant all that straight into the ground. But like our tomatoes, peppers, That's our two biggest transplants, and cabbage and broccoli in the springtime.
Yeah.
Ain't it?
Yeah.
Everything else pretty much is started by seed.
Yeah.
But
I mean, the potatoes, there's no certain, I mean, just plain old white potatoes.
which is Kennebec potatoes.
We like the yellow potatoes.
And Yukon Golds.
And we like the fingerling potatoes.
The fingerling potatoes. I have took a real big liking to those.
Red potatoes,
They're hit and miss.
yeah, they're okay. I mean, they have a great flavor. They don't keep worth a darn though, so.
Now, I don't even have any of them I'm going to plant this year.
Yeah.
I think we're going to plant all yellow and the Kennebecs, and then we're going to plant our fingerling potatoes up here in the raised beds, which, you know, I know y'all have probably watched our videos of us digging our potatoes, and if you do fingerling potatoes with the tractor,
Yeah.
they're so little you wrap a lot of them up,
Yeah,
and so
you miss a
fingerling
bunch.
potatoes work a lot better in raised beds where you dig them by
Or like
hand,
any kind of container.
Yeah.
Like I'd say.
because they're smaller.
But now with them Kennebecs and stuff, you can roll them out with a tractor. No,
Yeah, boy.
No problem. That's
It's
right up your alley.
Yeah, it's pretty watching potatoes roll out of the ground. It's pretty watching any kind of dirt roll. That's one thing I'm not 100% ready for spring yet because I've still got so much stuff that I kind of wanted to get done before the spring rush got here. But if there's one thing I can say is I'm longing for the smell of
Fresh
freshly
dirt.
plowed dirt. There's nothing like that smell. That and freshly mowed hay. I don't know which one smells better. But I guess
it's going to about wrap it up for today. It's been so windy and wet, couldn't do much else, so we thought we'd just
talk.
dream about the garden.
Yep. And that's what we've been doing, is dreaming about it, because you
Yeah.
dang sure can't get out here and work in it.
No. And watching my sweet baby.
And watching your sweet babies.
Anyways, guys, hope you enjoyed today's video. Hope you might have learned a little something. And until we see y'all on the next one.
Y'all have a good one.
Have a good one.